What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Powered by Primus, and in today's video I'm going to be showing off a Dreadwing list. Now, lots of people have been asking me about this two-character combiner, and really just a way to kind of make him really good, or a way just to make him really usable. I'm like a lot of you out there, let me throw that away. I think that he is a really good character, and I absolutely love his mechanic, which is just really awesome. Now I'm going to be showing two versions of this deck list, not just one, and it's because one of the versions does run Slipstream. Now I know Slipstream is a more difficult character to get and more expensive character to get. Some people have her, some people don't, so I didn't want to exclude either parties, so I'm going to be showing off a list that I'm going to be running currently, which is going to be these two. I'm going to be showing you guys gameplay of this list probably tomorrow, and then I'm going to show another version which I really like as well, and that is going to be with my girl Flamewar. Now they are pretty different lists, so it's going to be really fun to go over both of them, kind of show all the different things about it. I honestly can't tell you which list is my favorite between the two. I really love the fact that there are star cards in this list, which make it a lot more reliable, and it's a little I want to say more consistent, whereas this one is going to be a mixed list, which is really fun. We actually get to utilize a lot of Slipstream in this list, and I've been having a lot of fun with it just because it's a mixed list, and you guys know me as far as mixed lists currently. So let's go ahead and get into the first version, which is going to be Slipstream. Now the first thing we're going to do is talk about all the characters in their bot modes. Now first one we have in here is Dreadwing. Now this guy is super good, 3 armor and 2 pierce, which is really nice. We have Blackwing coming in here with a big 5 damage, 1 armor, and then we have Slipstream, who's really going to be the highlight part of the deck. Obviously she's going to have 3 attack, 13 health, and 2 armor, which is really good. Now she also has this really cool ability that says when one of your planes attacks, including herself, then you get to move 1 damage counter from it to the defender. Now you can't move it to anybody you want, but whoever you are attacking, that is the defender, and then obviously you move 1 damage from your character over to there, which is really nice because you kind of get a little bit of a heal and a little bit of a direct damage, which is really cool. And then obviously that procs with all the other planes as well. Now he is a vanilla, nothing over here, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip over into both of their modes where they're both going to have the same ability. And it says at the end of your turn, if you have both of them in bot mode, you may scrap 3 cards from your hand, and then they can combine into the fantastic Dreadwing. Now, this is where this guy gets really cool. He has a massive 7 damage, 2 armor, which is really nice. And then it says, obviously, you get to begin with him untapped, which is really cool. So you get to swing with both of your characters and then bring him in untapped. And then he has 2 weapon slots, 2 armor slots, and 2 utility slots, which is absolutely crazy. We are going to have this dude fully decked out with this deck list. He's going to be carrying all of the upgrades, which is really cool. Now, one thing I want to say about this character, because a lot of people get really confused about, let's say I have 1 utility on him and I want to play another utility. Now he does have 2 utility slots, which means that that is allowed. However, you cannot play a utility and remove a utility unless both utility slots are full. So like I said, you can't just choose to replace a Gyro Blaster with a security console because you feel like it. You cannot do that with this character. You have to have both slots full and then go to play a 3rd utility, and then you're able to replace either one of your choice. Now that is the same also for the weapon slot and for the armor slot, so that is one thing to be very careful of. Make sure that when you are playing a utility or a weapon or an armor, if it's a one of, that you really want it down, because you obviously won't be able to get rid of it yourself. Now we're going to flip over to Slipstream, and this is the other side of her that many people don't use. Most people do use her for this side, which is very understandable because it is a fantastic ability. However, in this list, I kind of tend to flip her a little bit and use her for the other side. Now this says that when this attacks, you flip at least 3 different battle icons. So right now we currently have 5. That is going to be blue, orange, white, black, and green. If you flip, as long as you flip 3 of them, then this will get +3 until end of turn, which now makes her have a base of 6 attack, which is really fun. Now, I want to talk about sequencing first with this because normally I usually talk about it at the end, but we're starting to merge them to a little bit towards the beginning, just so people can kind of know my sequencing. Now, I'm not going to obviously be talking about cards I play in the scenarios. It's just as far as flipping characters and attacking. Now turn 1, I will always flip Blackwing and I will throw in Dreadwing. Now the really big benefit to this, the guy's got 3 armor. He's probably not going to take any damage, or maybe he's going to take 1 or 2, especially early game. And then you're also going to be able to get Pierce 2 on any character you want to hit, especially if we're going first. We then have free pickings of anybody, and we always want to hit their main character with that Pierce 2 because there's no way that we miss. It is always Pierce 2, which is really nice. So we're always going to throw him out there first. Again, the 3 armor, letting him take a good amount of damage. Turn 2 coming in here, we're going to be flipping Dreadwing to his other side, and then we are going to be attacking with Blackwing, getting him for some big damage, and then at end of turn, we're obviously going to be scrapping 3 cards, and then making Mr. Big Man Now we are completely untapped. Our opponent's going to have the choice of whoever they want to attack into, and then this is where things get a little fun. Now there are two options once you are in this scenario. If Dreadwing is damaged, it is easy to just tap Dreadwing, send him in, and you get to utilize Striplim's ability. You get to move one damage to another character. However, the other thing that you can do, and that this is one thing that I really like to do with this list because we are never never flipping Dreadwing again, is we flip Slipstream and we send her in. We'll hopefully proc her ability, we'll get in some damage, and then now your opponent gets to go, they'll have to go back into Slipstream. Now you can flip Slipstream on your turn, and you can attack with Dreadwing, now moving that damage. Then once you go to straighten up, you can do the same thing. Most characters really want to always attack in their bot mode, and you really kind of want to be in alt mode for abilities or for defensive things. That's why usually, like you'll see in this instance, we have 3 attack and 2 armor, but in this mode we'll have 3 attack and 1 armor, but you potentially have 6 attacks. So that's where a lot of that stuff really comes into play. So it's really nice to attack with her in bot mode, and then you get to flip her to alt mode to then send in Dreadwing. Now, after talking about characters, we're going to get into actions here. We don't have that many actions on the list. We definitely have far more upgrades, which obviously makes sense with Dreadwing's ability. But the first one coming in is a 3 of, is going to be Work Overtime. Now, Work Overtime is a card that you do get from the Devastator box, so that one is going to be a very specific card to be able to get, and I also have another card from that list as well in here, but this is a really good card. It's a white battle icon, really nice for helping us flip 2 more on attack and on defense, especially with Slipstream, being able to hopefully get another color pip to get out there. And then says that if you have fewer than 4 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Now, sometimes I kind of go back and forth with this card and with System Reboot, but it really just depends. In this list, I'm not a fan of System Reboot. I'm more a fan of Work Overtime. It's also really nice after you get rid of 3 of your cards in your hand to be able to make Dreadwing if you have 1 left, which is hopefully going to be your Work Overtime. You get to play that on the following turn, and then you get to draw 3 cards, which is really, really nice. Next card coming is a 3 of, and pretty much the 3 of in most lists that I'm running currently is going to be Battlefield Report. Now this one's really awesome. It is a blue battle icon helping us out on defense, secret action, and then it says reveal when one of your characters defends. We get to draw 2 cards and then put 1 card back on top of our deck. Now one thing that's really nice, because we are always kind of low cards in our hand after we combine to make Dreadwing, especially if you don't hit your Work Overtime, this is going to be really nice to hopefully allow you to draw 2 additional cards, maybe help find another piece that you're looking for, put a double blue back on top of your deck, or even just put a blue on top of your deck. Sometimes I've even put whites back on top of my deck to be able to help me flip 2 more on defense, especially if you're not running any tough or any armors. This is going to be just a really nice card to help you out on defense as far as blocking, and then just help us dig through a few more cards, making sure we have the cards we want for Dreadwing. Next one coming is a 3 of is going to be Marksmanship. Now, Marksmanship is a blue battle icon, again helping us out on defense, and then it says if you have a ranged character, which both of our characters are going to be ranged, you may do 2 damage to an enemy in bot mode. Now remember, it does have to target an enemy in bot mode. You cannot target them in alt mode, so make sure you just take very careful thoughts before you do go to play this card, just in case if your opponent doesn't have any bot mode characters, and they're not taking the 2, and then now they know you have it, so maybe they'll go for like a System Reboot or an Espionage, whatever the case is, so make sure you are careful with that ability. Next card coming in here in the 2 slot is going to be Treasure Hunt. Now, Treasure Hunt is super, super awesome, especially in this list. It is an orange battle icon helping us out on attack, and then it says scrap the top 4 cards of your deck. You need to put all upgrades scrapped this way into your hand. Now, I will say that I got really ridiculously lucky playing some games yesterday, which I didn't record, but I actually played a Treasure Hunt Game 1 and a Treasure Hunt Game 2 and got 4 upgrades off of both of them. Now, that is a very rare occurrence. Most of the time, you're going to be hitting between 1 to 3. It's a pretty rare set to get the 4, and it's pretty rare for you to hit 0 as well. So always bank on the kind of 1 to 3 thing. Again, this is a really nice card to be able to help you play before you make Dreadwing, so you have more cards, more options to scrap to create Dreadwing, or a really nice recovery card after the fact of Dreadwing. You get to redraw some new cards, and then obviously be able to play more stuff onto Dreadwing. Now the next card coming in here is going to be Reclaim, another card that I said was going to be coming in from the Constructicons or from the Devastator box, and this card is really good because we have a really nice combo in this list with Dreadwing. Now does a blue battle icon help us out on defense, and it says you get to put an upgrade from your scrap pile on top of your deck, and then it does say if your tower is 3 or higher, draw a card. Obviously, we will never be worrying about that in this list, but it is really nice for us to be able to put any upgrade we want on top of our deck. Now, before I show you guys the combo piece that I do run with this, you are allowed to put any. So if you need one more damage, you can put an orange battle icon on top of your deck, or in this case, I do run a double orange battle icon on the list, which we'll get into. You can put that on top for the 2 extra damage you need. Or if there's a green pip card, you can put that on top of your deck, so after you do your attack, then you can pick up that green pip. Another thing that is really nice about the Reclaim with being able to put up green pips on the top is for Slipstream's ability. If you do want to attack with her for the turn, most of the green pip cards, if not all of the green pip cards in this list, are green and a different color, which means you already have 2 colors down for trying to proc her ability, which is really, really nice as well. And then again, it's a green, you can get it back at the end of combat. Next card coming is a 1 of, because we actually have 1 star left over on the list, is going to be Leap of Faith. This card is super nutty in the list. First off is a white battle icon. Let's flip 2 more attack on defense, and then it says scrap the top card of your deck. You may play that card, and then you get to scrap another card from the top of your deck. You may play that card. Now there are only a few cards in the list that I don't suggest you really play off the top, but you totally can as well. There actually isn't a dead card in the list to be able to play, which is really, really nice. The one thing about Leap of Faith sometimes that can be kind of an issue is, let's say you have a grenade launcher on your character, you play a Leap of Faith, and then you reveal another grenade launcher, and it's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. I don't have another character to put it on, and I don't want to replace this one. With Dreadwing, he has 2 of every upgrade slot. So even if you reveal a utility and then a utility after that, boom, they both go on to him, which is really, really nice. So this card is just super, super nutty in the list. And then the next 3 coming in here are going to be just my 1 of removals. Now, because this is a mixed list, I do run an orange and a blue. First off, we have Smelt coming in here, blue, helping us out on defense, green, which means it is fishable, which is really nice. And it says your opponent chooses 1 of their upgrades and scraps it. Now, one thing you know about this, your opponent does have choice of the upgrade. Now, if they only have 1 upgrade, great, play Smelt, they have to get rid of it. However, if they have 2 to infinity, they do get to choose which one they want to get rid of. And then we have Ramming Speed and Vaporize coming in here doing the same thing, scrap an enemy upgrade, 1 orange, 1 blue. Now, getting into the upgrade side of things, the first one that we have coming in as a 3 of is going to be Handheld Blaster. Now, this is a double blue battle icon card. It is a weapon, and it does give us Bold 1. Now, that actually is pretty nice to be able to play onto Slipstream, giving her that Bold 1, helping her ability proc. Also, you can have it onto your Dreadwing, so he can have Bold 1. Obviously, we had 2 of oranges in the list, so being able to get Bold and attack for more is never a problem. Now, this is one card that I was kind of saying with the Leap of Faith. Not really a big fan of playing it because it is a double pip. We usually kind of want it in the deck, but it is not bad to be able to place onto our character because it does still give us a benefit. Now, the next 3 coming in for exactly the same purposes is going to be the Improvised Shields. Now, this is a double orange battle icon, help us out on attack a lot. It is an armor going in the armor slot and does give us tough 1. Now, I really tried to fit Peace Through Tyranny and Security Checkpoint in the list, but honestly, the cards never had any feel for me. I always have a bunch of upgrades in my hand, so I really don't want a Security Checkpoint myself. And then Peace Through Tyranny doesn't really work because I don't want to get rid of Slipstream for an extra turn, so they were kind of dead cards. But this way I still get my double pip cards, helping me out on both attack and defense, and then the cards are actually kind of useful. Next card coming in is a 2 of, and again, a mainstay in a lot of my decks currently, is going to be this Euro Blaster. Now I'm calling it Euro Blaster. It's kind of official from here on out. It's going to be a Euro Blaster. Now, this is a blank pip card, which does kind of suck. Doesn't give us any advantage on defense or offense, but it is a utility card, which is really nice. And then it says when the upgraded character's battles, each player can't flip more than 2 cards during their attack. Now, the really nice part about this is it also gives +1, goes in the utility slot, but this really shuts down tough and bold decks against Dreadwing. One thing that Dreadwing kind of lacks in is he's 1 character, so if your opponent has 3 characters and they have access to a billion bold, you're going up against a General Optimus, they just get so much utility by attacking you with 2 to 3 characters, and you really have to kind of pick them off 1 at a time. However, with this Euro Blaster, now we have the ability to turn off our opponent's bold. They're not getting nearly as much damage in on us, and then obviously if they have tough, then their tough doesn't really make a whole difference, and we're going to be smashing for, 10 damage plus on a regular, and if they don't have tough, it's only a matter of time before Dreadwing gets through. Next card coming in as a 2 of is going to be Backup Beam. Now, it is a blue battle icon and a green battle icon. Again, I said a lot of our upgrades are going to have this green pip. I don't even know if it's a lot, but we have a few. Have the green pip. It's a defensive card, which because they have the blue pip, which is nice. Green, which means we're allowed to fish it up. It is a weapon giving us Bold 2. Now, this is really nice to put on Dreadwing just for the Bold 2, but it is also really nice to put on Slipstream because we want to be able to proc her ability when she attacks. Giving her Bold 2 is going to definitely do it. And then again, really easy card to reclaim on top, be able to get the green pip, or be able to use it for Slipstream's ability. Now, this is going to be the combo card that I was talking about, and it's going to be Metal Detector. Now, first off, it is a black and a green battle icon card. Very weird pip colors, but it works out really well for Slipstream because she always likes it. And then the green obviously is fishable, and then it is an upgrade utility. Love it. it says when the upgraded character attacks you, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's an upgrade, you may play it. Now you're probably starting to see the synergy here. A lot of these cards kind of are powerful by themselves, but become a lot more powerful when combined. Now, Metal Detector usually doesn't proc for me. It's a really hard card to proc, even though I'm running, I think it's like 23 upgrades on the list. It still can be really difficult to sometimes get it to go off. So Reclaim allows me to always make sure it goes off. I Reclaim, and then I also have choice of any of these upgrades from my scrap pile. Be able to put on top, I get to attack, Metal Detector procs, and then boom, free upgrade. Really, really powerful stuff. And then if your question is what happens if you have 2 Metal Detectors, well, then you reveal the top card first. If it is an upgrade, you get to play it, and then you get to proc the second Metal Detector, and then, oh man, if you happen to reveal one off of that, you're in a really good spot. But also, if you go to attack, you reveal, let's say the top card is this Reclaim, then all you do is flip this back on top of your deck and then continue your flips. They both will not get anything done. The next card coming in as a 2 of is going to be Force Field. Now it is a white battle icon, allowing us to flip 2 more on attack and on defense. It is an armor, which is really nice, and it says if the upgraded character would take 5 or more attack damage, instead scrap this card, and the upgraded character takes 4 instead. Now, again, if your question is what happens if you have 2 Force Fields on Dreadwing, and he takes 12 damage, only 1 force field will break. You break 1, you take 4, 1 force field still remains, which is super, super nice and really strong. Now, I do not, and I will not be showing you guys an orange list for Dreadwing. I'm not a really big fan of orange lists for Dreadwing, just because I think that he is almost a little too vulnerable when it comes to it, especially with a lot of 4 wides that are running around. If your opponent's getting a force wings kind of into him, you're in a really, really bad spot. He doesn't have nearly as much health as Metroplex, or at Metroplex's ability to really stand as a one character team. So this is the only card that I would suggest if you are ever going to consider on going full orange with the list. Make sure you run 3 force fields all day, every day. It will cause your opponent to really kick themselves in the butt by only attacking you for 4 constantly. And then if you have ways to recur it with like the Metal Detector and Reclaim, you're going to be in a really, really nice spot. Next card coming is a 2 of is going to be Sparring Gear. It is an orange and a green battle icon. Orange obviously up on defense. Green means it is fishable. It is an armor, and it does give us tough 2. Now again, it's a mixed list. We're pretty good on all of our pips, so being able to get that tough 2 sometimes is really nice. Even if we're not taking so much damage that we need the tough, we do get to reveal some more green battle icon cards, so we can hopefully fish those out. Next card coming is a 2 of is going to be Energy Pack. Now this is an orange battle icon, help us out on attack, and this is a new card coming in from Wave 3 that's really, really good. I mean, we have multiple cards coming in from Wave 3, but this one specifically has a really nice spot with Dreadwing. The really cool part is that you get to put this on a character that has 11 or more stars. Obviously, Mr. Dreadwing does, and says the upgraded character gets 4 health. So if you happen to stack these, you're getting plus 8 health onto your Dreadwing, and that is a considerable amount. That is a 32 health Dreadwing. That is pretty insane. So really, really nice cards to be able to have. Now you guys may go, well, Jamie, you're running a bunch of utilities. How do you ever really get to pick? Well, that's the cool part about Dreadwing, is that you can have 1 Metal Detector and 1 Energy Pack on your character, and you're still getting this benefit, and then getting extra health, and then say maybe late game you don't really need the Metal Detector anymore, well, you can easily replace the other Metal Detector with an Energy Pack. Or you're running this, and then your opponent goes to play like a really big bold character, you know, a big bold's turn's coming in, then you get to switch over and play a Gyro Blaster. So it's really, really strong stuff to always have access to multiple abilities, or sorry, multiple cards that really get to let you maximize what's going on the battlefield. Now the next card coming is a 2 of is going to be Grenade Launcher. Now Grenade Launcher is obviously just always a fantastic card. Orange battle icon giving us that +4 attack. Now this one I'm still not 100% sold in the list. I do really like it because the extra damage out of nowhere is always really powerful, especially when your opponent's like, oh cool, both of his grenade launchers are in the KO or in the scrap pile. Well then again, you just play Reclaim with Metal Detector, and then you're getting it back, so you're still smashing for a crazy number of damage. And again, it's at out of nowhere damage, which is really powerful. So I really, really like it as far as the card itself. However, just the feel of it, I don't know how necessary it really is. I've had uses where it saved my butt, and then I've had times when it's just kind of really not necessary anyway. I'm going to KO the character with the base 10 or 13 damage that we're pushing out, and this is kind of just some unnecessary damage. Now the next card coming is a 1 of is going to be Energon Axe, blue battle icon card. I definitely have to make sure I run Energon Axe and everything. That way when my opponent deals 1 damage to me, I can just yell, you've activated my Energon Axe. But no, seriously, this card is really, really good. It is another weapon. You get to put on damaged characters only, which obviously most of our characters are going to at least take 1 damage at some point in the game. It does give us +3 attack and Pierce 2, so really, really good card. Next one coming in is going to be a combat training. Now this is one card that I haven't really been able to spend a whole lot of time playing with just because it's always kind of a hit or miss. But this list, it's really nice as a one-of. First off, it's a white battle icon. I'll always flip 2 more on attack and on defense. It goes in that utility slot as well. And then it does say, while the upgraded character has a weapon, you get bold 1. And then while the upgraded character has an armor, you get tough 1. So it's really nice if you have to happen to have this down, a sparring gear, you play a grenade launcher. Now you have +4 attack, bold 1, and then tough 3. So you can see how this mixed pip list is going to be really, really nice when you're able to swing for so much damage, but then you're also able to block so much damage as well, which is really, really nice, really powerful. And then the last 2 coming in here are just kind of like my little safeguard cards, and it's going to be a bashing shield and an enforcement batons, both of them being orange and green battle icons. Orange to help for attack, green to be able to fish, and then one is going to be the armor. It says when you play this on a character, you get to play this on a character, you get to scrap an enemy armor, and then the other one's saying that when you put this on a character, you get to scrap an enemy weapon, one giving +1 on defense and one giving +1 on offense. So that is going to be this list. Like I said, it's a really fun, really powerful list. Mixed lists are a huge thing for me right now. I'm starting to convert a lot of people to it. I have a really cool video coming out on blue lists and mixed lists here soon, just for you guys and to answer a lot of the questions that we have. I do have another article coming out to the website as well, talking about mixed lists, because I just had the world open up to me on these kind of cards and on these kind of decks, and it's really, really awesome to sit here and explore and really to be able to play with any card that I want versus being so pigeonholed into only playing one, which is really, really awesome. So let me get this out of the way and let's move into version number 2. Alrighty guys, now getting into version 2 of the list, obviously we're going to be running Dreadwing, but the other character we're going to be swapping out, Slipstream 4 is going to be Flamewar. Now the one really fun part about Flamewar is the fact that she is a specialist, which is kind of nice, does have some relevance in the list. She has 3 attack, 10 health, 1 armor, that says each of your characters has tough 1. Again, we're only going to be flipping her in the beginning of the game, and then we're going to be able to send our other characters in, so let me go ahead and show the same sequencing that we would normally do. Move all my characters kind of over here. We're going to set up our fancy little plastic covers. Big thank you to Wes. Alright, so move my characters on you. Alright, so going into turn 1, it's all pretty much the same thing. Is I'm going to flip Blackwing and then send in Dreadwing. Again, we have that 3 armor, which is really nice. Pierce 2, being able to hit anything our opponents want, or anything that we want to hit against our opponents. And then turn 2, we can easily flip and then send in Blackwing. Really nice, hitting that big damage and then converting. Now, the one thing about this list is that if you are not ready to convert yet, that is perfectly fine. Do not stress about it. Let's say you have too many good cards in your hand, or you really want to play one specifically. Then in this list, you flip Flamewar, and then you can send in Blackwing. Now, the big benefit to this now is that this character still has tough 1, and so if they do choose to go into here, you're going to have more access to more armor, obviously. And then Blackwing now is not so squishy. He only has 1 armor, but he gets to keep 1 armor in that mode versus the 0 in this mode. And then obviously now you have tough 1. Now the thing about this list is that obviously we are going to be a very, very heavy blue list. I think there's only 2 orange cards in the entire deck, but this does have a lot of blue. So I don't really worry in this list about being a turn too slow or being just a little bit behind the curve. It is totally okay. What you can do in this scenario is after you go through this sequencing, then you get to flip Blackwing and then you get to attack with Flamewar. Now the cool part is if your opponent still has an untapped character at end of turn, you get to go ahead and make Mr. Big Man, and then they have to attack into Flamewar, and then Dreadwing gets to chew on anybody that he absolutely wants. This is one thing I did not say in the earlier part of the video, is that if your opponent is going to have to be tapped down with your Dreadwing untapped, that is definitely the play you want to go. So maybe you want to go second for the turn, because even if your opponent decides to really hit one of your characters, they're most likely going to go after Blackwing, who has the low armor. He'll have 1 armor in this mode, so maybe your opponent will get in for 2 or 3. Again, not really that big of a deal in this list because we run so heavy blue. Now, we put these characters away and let's get into the actions. Alrighty, now getting into the actions, the first one we have coming in here is going to be Battlefield Report. Now it is a blue battle icon to help us out on defense, and then it does say when one of your characters defends, you get to draw 2 cards and put 1 back on top of our deck. Now, we do run all of the double blue pips, correction, we run all of the non-starred double blue pips, which is going to be all 6 of them. So it's a really nice card to stack on top, or again, you can put a white on top of your deck to really help out on defense, especially if you have Flamewar flipped, then you're going to have all of the defense, which is really powerful. This deck is going to really be able to withstand a lot of damage, and then also be able to put up a lot of damage with Dreadwing. In this list, you can pretty accurately be hitting for 10, possibly 13 on a pretty regular basis with him, which is a lot of damage. So next card coming in from the first list as well is going to be that Work Overtime. Again, really helping us refresh our hand after getting rid of a bunch of cards with Dreadwing, and then also being able to just draw a couple extra cards. Again, 1 through 3. 4 is kind of the dream, but 1 through 3 is really what you're going to be able to draw off of it. And it is a white battle icon helping us out with flipping 2 more on defense, specifically because on offense you still have to flip the 2 extras for flipping a white, but we're really not relying on our attack flips. Now, first one coming in here is going to be, 3 of Security Checkpoint. Now, this is going to be just a double blue pip card. We rarely ever want to be playing this card because it does say each player reveals their hand and scraps all upgrades from it. Now, we don't want to be doing it to ourselves. It is a complete wreck, especially if our opponent plays this before we make Dreadwing. We're pretty much just going to lose the game, or it's going to really hurt and set us back a few turns. More with the first list than this list because we have some really secretive draw cards in this list. But this is going to be a really nice card. Now, late game, if you happen to have all of your pretty much main components out on Dreadwing and you don't really care about a couple of the upgrades in your hand, then by all means play Security Checkpoint, go for it, but this is definitely going to be in here primarily for the double blue. Next card coming in, and again for the same kind of combo that we're going to be doing from the first list, is going to be the Reclaim with the blue battle icon, helps out on defense, putting an upgrade on top of our deck, and from the scrap pile, allowing us to get any of those cards back that we truly want, and then we are going to be using the same metal detector combo with this one to be able to get those cards back out. Now the next card coming as a 2 of is going to be Swap Missions. Now this is a really fun card in this list. First off is a blue battle icon, help us out on defense, and then it says you get to untap one of your tapped characters and then tap one of your untapped characters. So it may seem confusing, so I brought the characters out. So let's say we just created Dreadwing. What we're going to do is we're going to swing in with our Dreadwing. Now if we happen to have a weapon on, awesome, we're getting in for big damage. If not, we're still getting in for 7 damage, which is really nice, and then we go start our next turn. We play the Swap Missions, which allows us to tap down Flamewar and then untap Dreadwing, which is really cool. Now technically, if you're going based on how the card reads it, you untap a character and then tap a character. So really cool stuff. And then you get now 2 hits with Dreadwing, which is really nice. Next card coming as a 2 of is going to be Leap into Battle. Now, because we are heavy blue, we're going to need a little bit of help in the damage department. We have a few weapons that are going to help us get there. But on the action side of things, this is a blue battle icon, help us out on defense, and then is going to give us +3 attack until end of turn. Now, this is also nice and sometimes can be necessary to put onto Flamewar, especially if your opponent's like running heavy orange or maybe a mixed list, and you can kind of do the math on what you're going to get out. Maybe that Flamewar needs to get in to finish the job, and maybe that +3 is going to be enough to get it done. Or again, you put on your Dreadwing, and now you're swinging for 10, and if you do have like an Energon X or something, now you have 13, which is a pretty crazy number for Dreadwing. Now the next 2 coming in, and I said we have some secret draw cards because we do have 4 stars available in the list. We're going to be spending 2 stars on Universal Network Access. Now this card is super good in this list. First off, blue battle icon, really nice, and then just straight up says draw 3. So really awesome, really helping us dig through a lot of the cards in our deck, also refresh our hand after getting Dreadwing out. Really nice card. And since we're talking about star cards, next one's going to be Leap of Faith. Now, I talked about it in the first version of the list. It is a white battle icon, allows us to flip 2 more on defense. Specifically for this list is really nice. It says you get to scrap the top card of your deck, you may play it, and then you get to scrap the next card on top of your deck, and then you may play that. Really good stuff. Like I said in the first list, really cool because a lot of the cards are really nice to have. And this one, really bad if you flip a Security Checkpoint. Don't play it, especially if you have a bunch of upgrades in your hand, obviously. But really good stuff to be able to hopefully get 2 weapons out, 2 armors out, 2 utilities out, and then in this version we get access to 2 of them, not 1 of them, so that's really nice. And then the next 2 coming in here are going to be our mainstays for as far as getting rid of really pesky cards on our opponent's side. As far as in the upgrade section, we have Vaporize for a single blue, and then we have Smelt for a blue and a green, which means it is fishable, really nice. And they Vaporize said you'd scrap an enemy upgrade, and then Smelt says that your opponent chooses one of their upgrades and scraps them. So that is the action side of things. Let's get into the upgrades. Alrighty, and the first upgrade coming in here is going to be 3 of them is going to be reinforced plating. Now, because we are heavy blue, we obviously want to make sure we're not taking any damage or taking very little damage. Flamewar gives us that tough 1, but reinforced plating to be able to put onto our Dreadwing is going to give us tough 2. Now, if you happen to stack 2 of these, you're looking at tough 4 on Dreadwing, and then if you do have Flamewar's tough 1, now you have tough 5, which is pretty freaking insane. It's also really nice to put one of these onto Flamewar to help her stick around, because she does still give you tough 1 to your Dreadwing, so you're only losing tough 1 to Dreadwing specifically, but you're giving tough 2 to Flamewar. Now Flamewar has tough 3, so it really helps her survive, and you don't really take a whole lot more damage to your Dreadwing. So I do recommend, if you do have 2, put 1 on her and 1 on Dreadwing. But in whatever situation, maybe she's KO'd and you happen to play that leap of faith, you get 2 of them, boom, put them all on Dreadwing, massive amounts of tough. Next card comes in a 3 of is going to be Handheld Blaster. This one's in here for the double blue battle icon as well. The bold one is completely irrelevant in this list because, like I said, we're only running 2 oranges, so we really don't want to be pushing more cards as far as flipping on attack. So it is in here for that double blue battle icon. Next one coming is a 3 of is going to be Force Field. Now, this is in here because in whatever rare situation, especially if you're playing against something very aggressive, they might have bashing, shields, ramming speed, so you may not have access to your reinforced platings. And then they may also be running that dreaded press the advantage card for Decepticons. So I'm sorry, they're running it for Autobots, obviously. You're a Decepticon, which really, really hurts. So Force Fields are a really nice card to be able to help protect us from those massive plays that our opponent does happen to have, just because even if they swing for 23 for the turn, you're only taking 4. So really nice stuff. Next card coming in is going to be a 2 of, and that's going to be Field Communicator. It is a white battle icon. Allows us to flip 2 more on defense. Now this is a utility and says when you put this on one of your specialists, obviously going to be putting this onto Flamewar, we get to scrap the top card of our deck, and then we may play it. So it's the same ability as Leap of Faith, minus you don't get to do it twice, you only get to do it once, and it's an upgrade versus an action. But being able to play this thing onto Flamewar is really nice. Getting an additional card off the top may be really relevant, and maybe something really nice. Maybe you play a Field Communicator and you go into a Force Field, you go into Reinforced Plating, or you go into another action, whatever the case may be. Really good just to get that extra bit of card. Now next card coming is a 2 of is going to be Energon X. Blue for the battle icon, for the defense, really nice. Weapon, obviously for the first list, kind of talked about it, gives us that +3 attack, and then does give us Pierce 2. Now it does say you have to put on a damage character. Now unless you're running all of your reinforced platings out there, you're probably going to at least have 1 or 2 damage on you, so you're always going to be able to really put this Energon Axe down. Now if your opponent is also running heavy blue, you guys may have a really difficult time kind of bashing back and forth, but hopefully your opponent has at least a little bit of Pierce to help get this going, because if not, you guys are definitely going to be tickling each other to death, because you're going to be hitting for very little amounts of damage because of their blues, and then kind of the same for you as well. Now the next card coming in, and is going to be our only 2 orange battle icons, is going to be the Energy Pack. Now this card I have in here just because of giving us that +4 health on Dreadwing is really nice, especially if you do happen to have 2 reinforced platings, you put 2 of these down, your opponent has so much wood to chop when it comes to getting your Dreadwing down, because you're defending for so much blue, and then even if they're getting in for 1 or 2, or they have Pierce and they're poking you to death, then the Energy Pack is going to be really nice to be able to put down to really prevent that, especially in this scenario if you have to have them both down. Again, that does give us 32 health with Dreadwing, and that is pretty crazy when you're rocking like tough 4 and tough 5. Next card coming is a 2 of is going to be Metal Detector. Now we talked about it in the first list, this is going to be the other combo card. Really nice to be able to play in that utility slot as well, hopefully getting some stuff off the top of the deck. You can even happen to attack, you can reveal a Field Communicator and then put that onto Flamewar, and then now Flamewar's ability is going to proc, so it's really got some really cool combo potential in there, really fun stuff. And then the next 2 coming in here, first off, going to have that combat training still, really nice. It is a white battle icon, goes in that utility slot, and then this one doesn't really affect us for the bold category. One thing that you can change this for is for Security Console, which is another powerful card. I don't think I have one near me. Which it is a white battle icon as well. It is a utility, and it does say that when you defend, you get to draw a card and then pull it back on top of your deck. Really nice for double blues, but this one's in here just kind of currently for me to be able to get that additional tough 1. I also don't mind with this because I am getting bold 1. I know I talked about you really don't be flipping a lot of cards on attack. However, with this, you're still getting the tough 1, so it's not really that relevant for me because we're going to be able to block, but maybe I'll be able to flip a couple more cards to try to get into some of these green cards, which is my other random thought with it. And then the last card coming in here is going to be a Scoundrel's Blaster. Now, we're running both Decepticons, so it makes the most sense. It is a blue battle icon and a green battle icon, which means we can fish it out. And then it does say it's an upgraded weapon. We can get +2 off of it no matter what, which is really nice to be able to put on Dreadwing. If you happen to have an Energon Axe and the Scoundrels, now you're getting it for 12 base. Super solid number. And then if you are hitting into an Autobot, you do get Pierce 2. So sometimes this can be relevant to play onto Flamewar if necessary as well. Now, as I was talking about it, I don't like it. Swap that combat training out for security console. It makes way more sense. Don't listen to me. Run the security console in this one spot. Again, as a white battle icon, it goes in that utility slot, and this is when the character defends, you get to draw one, and then you may plan one. Now, planning is possible, you don't have to, but again, if you want to put a white on top, help with some more on defense, or stack one of those double blues to help take less damage, it is a great thing to do. Or you just keep the card, and then you just got to draw a card on defense, which is really nice. So, said, bad, good. All right, so there is 2 different versions of this deck. I really hope that you guys did enjoy my breakdown on it, showing you guys all the different stuff. But the first 2 are going to be a Dampening Field and Infiltrate. Now, these are usually pretty much mainstays in most of my sideboard slots. I can't really find my other ones. All right. Most of my mainstay and a lot of stuff, especially in blue lists. Infiltrate, really awesome card. It's a blue battle icon card, and then it does say when your opponent goes to play an orange action, you may scrap the action and it has no effect. Kind of acts as a counterspell. Really nice thing, especially if your opponent does go to play those pressy advantages or peace through tyrannies or reckless charges. Really nice in shutting that stuff down. And then Dampening Field, always really nice, especially if you're going against a heavy bold deck. It is a white battle icon card, and it says when one of your characters defends, then you may reveal this. Your opponent can't flip more than 4 cards this turn. Really nice, especially if you happen to have tough. It doesn't shut down your tough, it only shuts down their bold. So if you happen to have 1 reinforced plating or 2 reinforced platings on, or if you have the sparring gears out, then you're going to be blocking a lot, and your opponent's going to be doing very little amounts of damage. Now, the next card coming in is going to be Photon Bomb. It is a blank battle icon card, but this is designed specifically because sometimes we are 1v3 as far as we have just Dreadwing and our opponent has 3 characters, or even if we're going up against a combiner, then this is going to be a really nice card because we get to put 2 damage on each character. Now, it's only putting essentially 2 damage on just Dreadwing, and maybe we're doing 6 to our opponent, which is really nice stuff. It's also really nice when it comes to finishing off some of those pesky characters that happen to survive. Now, since we're talking about pesky characters that happen to survive, One Shall Stand, One Shall Fall is going to be the next card coming in. Again, blank battle icon card, kind of sucks, but the action is really nice. It says choose one of your characters and do 3 damage to it, and then you get to choose an enemy character and do 3 damage to it. Now, because Dreadwing does have so much health, especially if you are running those energy packs that are helping you with more health, then essentially you're still going to be gaining 1 health off of the energy pack, and possibly doing 3 damage to an opponent's character, which is really nice. Again, finishing off any of those pesky characters so you don't have to waste a big attack into them, or even if your opponent happens to have a character tapped, only has a couple of health left, and you don't want to have to hit the character, you want to go for the untapped character. Obviously, a really nice card to be able to play, get rid of that tapped character, and then your big swing. Then my last 2 that I'm currently debating on is going to be Pep Talk. Now, I'm not quite sure about this card yet. This one's a little bit in the open air, but it is a blue battle icon, which is really nice, helping us out on defense, and then it does say we get to draw 2 cards. Now, sometimes I find myself not really having the card selection that I want, or maybe early game, my opponent happened to hit me with an espionage or a security checkpoint, so if we do get to see a lot of that hand hate, or if our opponent is running Shockwave, then this is going to be a really nice card to be able to play and help us draw 2 cards, whether we're finding more actions, or maybe that drawing these 2 cards is going to be enough for us to be able to transform to make Dreadwing. So, again, there is the 2 different versions of the list. There is a pretty much rough sideboard. I'm loving all of these. These 2 are where, like I said, I'm a little bit in the iffy spot. So, if you guys did enjoy, obviously a like would be greatly appreciated. I really hope that you guys did enjoy, obviously, the 2 different breakdowns, and let me know what is the next deck that you guys want to see me show off. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch ya in the next one.